Hi, everybody. Welcome back. This is our 5th week in Creativity, the Coaching Adventure Creativity. And today is our final session for this particular course. And I hope that you have reflected and enjoyed each of the previous sessions. So today we're looking at the importance of finding whimsy. So you may wonder why? What are we doing? What does that have to do with creativity? And it really is at the core of freedom. So what we're going to do, I'll share my screen. We'll talk about some of the possibilities in terms of how you can access your whimsy and see if it helps you in terms of expressing yourself and finding greater freedom in your creativity. Okay, so this is our 5th week of engaging with our own creative genius. And I hope that each individual week has given rise to a greater understanding of yourself, a greater sense of freedom in terms of your own self-expression, a damping down of some of the self-criticism and some of the self-judgment or standards, and a greater sense of your own creativity. So week 5 is about finding whimsy, and it is one of the great joys of life because ordinarily many of us feel that life is quite serious, quite difficult. A quote from Brene Brown is, "Vulnerability is the core of shame and fear and our struggle for worthiness. But it appears that it is also the birthplace of joy, of creativity, of belonging, of love." So we've talked about the fact that when we express ourselves, when we show ourselves, when we are exposing ourselves to the world, we find greater connection, but we also find greater vulnerability. And so Brene Brown's quote is exactly what we need to strive for if we want to feel the great delight and joy and belonging and love, as well as tap into our creativity. One of the blocks to this, one of the alternative thoughts is that life is very serious. And don't get me wrong, there are many aspects of life that are serious. There are some very serious aspects. However, we tend to make everything serious, especially when we get overwhelmed or confused or feel that we aren't making the grade and have a lot of self-judgment. St. Francis of Assisi was reputed to have said that we ought to wear the world as a loose garment. And when you consider the idea of wearing the world or wearing our lives or having a relationship to life that is a loose garment, it's not constricting, it's not confining, it is relaxed and it is accepting. So I think we can take this notion of wearing the world like a loose garment and apply it to our creativity so that when we are consciously, deliberately choosing and making our choices, expressing ourselves, being creative, let go of the constriction of self-judgment, standards of excellence, and take that step back. Take that step, that disidentification, and allow yourself to appreciate what you're doing from a little distance. When you do that, you realize that there is a river of creative energy. There is a river of creative energy that is within you and is also outside of you. When you collaborate with others, you're tapping into the areas where those rivers join. But even on your own, completely on your own, you have the ability to enter the river or to draw from the river or to utilize the river, because it is completely endless. It is ongoing and free flowing. So it's really a mental model that I would like to encourage you to think about, that we've all experienced, or many of us have experienced, oh, a writer's block, or, oh, I have a blank canvas and I don't know what I want to paint, or, oh, I want to dance, but I just don't even know what music to put on. We've all had blocks like that. But a counter to that is knowing that there is a river of creative energy there. And all we have to do is step closer to the water that is rushing by, and we can engage with it, whether it's taking a cup out, whether it's diving in full on, whatever aspect of the river you want to tap. It is yours to tap. It is your creative energy. It's your freedom. And so this week, what I'd like you to do is have a playful activity. And one of the artists, Henry Matisse, really epitomized a playfulness in terms of his very beautiful art, in terms of his cut papers. So he utilized very bright, colorful papers and shaped them, cut them into whimsical shapes, as in the top image, and then actually created a narrative and an image that had some um, basis in reality, although it was abstracted, as in the bottom. You can see in the bottom, when at first it looks like a jumble of shapes and colors, you realize as you look at it that you're seeing trapeze with a net below, and the flight of individuals from one trapeze to another. It is whimsical in both its color, in terms of its rendering, and that playfulness is what I would like you to try. So take some color paper and try to get the best quality of color paper you can. Go to an art store, order online, because if you go and just get construction paper of different colors, they're often faded and murky. And so try and provide yourself with the best art materials in order to really honor your own creativity. So when you do this activity, cut these shapes into whatever form you like, put them on a ground, either of cardstock or cardboard or a surface that is stable, glue them down and celebrate your own engagement with whimsy. After that, I'd like you to take some time to reflect and journal. What does it mean to find whimsy? What is the balance that you may try and achieve between all things serious and all things that aren't? Is there a way that you can shift the seesaw from all serious or all whimsy to something that is reflecting your personality, your unique way of being in the world, and your choice of where you find yourself on that spectrum? So we create our lives, just as we said in the very first class, we create our lives. We are creative, and we can do that either consciously or unconsciously. When we make choices that are unconscious, then the products of our creative choices are more reflecting other people's influence, or the strictures of the situation in which you find yourself. However, if you take the time to become conscious of your choices, if you distance yourself slightly from yourself so that you have that pause, that ability to make a conscious choice, then you can relinquish control. You can collaborate with yourself and with other people, and you can damp down to live without so much self-judgment and self-criticism. So in that conscious choice. And in that conscious self-expression and creative self-expression, we experience joy and wonder. And if we can loosen the seam between how serious our lives are and with death just beyond our doorstep, we might find deep meaning and delightful whimsy. So for further engagement, what I invite you to do is keep going. There are several different recommendations here in terms of TED Talks or books for you to look at and contemplate or explore. And I really think that there are endless possibilities in terms of engaging with your own creative genius. So I'm going to stop sharing for the moment and just let you know that it has been a complete pleasure for me to welcome you into this coaching adventure. I hope that it's been useful, that it has been interesting and provocative in terms of new ways of thinking, new sort of mindsets that allow you to truly express yourself, to be yourself, to free yourself, and to acknowledge your endless creativity. So thank you very much and best wishes to all. Bye for now.